Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the Aging Gamer. So, I'm back. I've awakened from my 6-month slumber, and I'm back because it's one of my favorite times of the year. It's October, the Halloween month. And what do I like doing around this time of year? What? I like taking a look back at horror-themed retro video games, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today too. So let's go ahead and get down to this. Let's grab our witch's brew and our trick-or-treats, and let's take a look back at a spooky old game. But which one are we gonna take a look at? Well, I think now is a good time to take a look back at one of my favorite horror-themed retro video games. I want to take a look at something from the Splatterhouse series. Specifically, let's take a look at Splatterhouse 2. Released in 1992, this sequel wasn't on either the TurboGrafx 16 or in the arcades. Rather, this was released exclusively for the Sega Genesis. This would actually be our third Splatterhouse game at this point in time, as not only did we have Splatterhouse 1 and 2, we had Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti's released just several years prior on the Nintendo Famicom. Wanpaku Graffiti's a parody-type game. It's real goofy in its own way, but Splatterhouse 2, on the other hand, oh man, that takes everything just horrifying and grotesque from the first one and just makes it even more terrifying. So, let's take a look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Splatterhouse 2. So the events of Splatterhouse 2 take place right after Splatterhouse 1. Naturally. I already did a video on that game though, but here's the gist of the story. Here's what's going on. So, in the first Splatterhouse game, Rick and his girlfriend Jennifer end up in a haunted mansion where Jennifer gets kidnapped and the Terror Mask, a mask that grants supernatural powers, finds Rick. Rick bashes and slashes his way through the mansion in an attempt to save Jennifer, but after she gets possessed and turned into a monster, Jennifer dies. Rick defeats the big final boss and the mansion burns down, but Jennifer is gone. Splatterhouse 2 takes place 3 months afterwards. To quote the game, Rick is haunted by guilt and tormented by nightmares. Nightmares of Jennifer's screams and the infernal temptation of the mask. The mask speaks out to Rick.
She doesn't have to die, Rick. We can save her. Go back to the house. Only I can give you the power.
And that's where our journey begins. And before we begin, let's go ahead and clear things up because there's a lot of text here that's lost in translation. While showing a mansion in the opening scene, the mask says, "Go back to the house." But we burned down that house in the first game. This mansion is a totally different secret mansion that Dr. West did experiments in, including finding a portal to a place called The Void, which is the land of the undead, which is why we want to go there, for a chance to save Jennifer. Also, the US game manual refers to this mansion as the House of Dr. Moeller. Moeller only exists via the English game manuals for this game. In Japan, it's all Dr. West again. So with all that said, let's get to this game. Before we start, we can do a few things like change the controls or increase the difficulty. Yeah, if you're a real maniac, you can make this game even harder. Fuck that, I'm sticking to normal. That's hard enough for me. In the first stage, we're where the last game ended, the location of the haunted mansion. As you see, it's burnt down, but there's plenty of monsters left behind. But before we continue, let's briefly go over the controls. As it should go without saying, the D-pad moves us around and lets us crouch. A and C are used to jump, and B is used to attack. You can punch, low kick, and jump kick. And while landing from a jump, if you press down, forward, and attack, you can do a powerful slide attack. If you played the first game, you should feel right at home here because Splatterhouse 2 plays exactly like the first game. For better or for worse, there's no changes here. But anyway, back to the stage. We go through fighting the monsters. According to the game's manual, this red rotting corpse is called Zombie, and we can take them out pretty easily. In fact, this whole first level's pretty easy. You punch your way through until you reach the end boss here. This big fucking gross thing called Bellyache. Let's give him just that. Let's kick the shit out of him until he explodes! Now we move on to Chapter 2. And man, look at that mask. It's badass! I find it kind of weird that the Terror Mask, a single mask, has such a variety of looks. In the first game, the American version was a red mask. In the Japanese version, it resembled more of a hockey mask, like Jason Voorhees. In this sequel, the American version looks more skull-like, while the Japanese version is white with a kabuki-like design. In a way, I think it's kind of fun that every version of the game has its own special mask, but also, come on developers, make up your mind! Anyway, as we go into Chapter 2, we're in an elevator, going down. We'll fight some monsters known as Screaming Memes? That's great! And man, these guys do scream. After a cool looking creepy section, we reach our second boss, this big fucking head. Holy shit, I'm already weak, so he ends up killing me. I'm sorry, I cannot take that dying sound seriously. Every time he dies, he sounds like a cool guy that just got bumped into. What is that? It kind of sounds like that Oh Yeah song by Yellow. Back to this boss. Learn the pattern of his flying heads, attack those, and then punch the big face when possible. Next we'll be crossing what Rick himself calls the river. There's some screaming memes that will try to attack you. Sometimes they end up killing themselves though. I love how they wave goodbye. The boss of this stage is described as blood puppets. They just look like giant fetuses on nooses to me, but whatever, hack away at them one by one and you'll eventually win. The next stage, we're walking on a bridge that's being destroyed by some giant monster. Hey, I know that guy. That's Ultros from Final Fantasy. We can't fight him here, so instead, run away. We'll continue to walk through this forest, and we'll also walk through a dungeon that contains a bunch of ghouls. We'll get to this boss, Bug Brain, and I can't stand this ass clown, so he constantly does that sliding attack that Rick does. You gotta jump over him and hit him from behind. It's a bit tricky, but once you do it so many times, he turns into a leaping Tektite. Just low kick him until he's dead. Now, let's finally enter the mansion we've been looking for. We got some creepy haunted house vibes here. Smash the memes and watch out for these things. I kinda wish I could pick those guys up and use them as a weapon. Well, we do end up finding a shotgun. Kinda like in the last game, where when you found the shotgun and you held onto it, it made the fight with the Biggie Man easier. I'm betting that there's a big bad here at the end that I could save this gun for. I can still attack by other means, but I gotta be careful. I reach the end and... oh, I just drop it. Son of a bitch. We go through this library where the foreground is actually the biggest enemy. Then there's an area with screaming memes that break out of captivity. Then there's a sewer part with poop monsters. Then we find the boss, this zombie professor. Is this zombie Dr. West? Not sure, but we'll chase him down. He throws these, potassium bombs at us, but chase him down to the end of the hall to easily dispose of him. Jesus, Jennifer literally just got dragged down to hell. Well, fuck evil. Let's get our woman back. Let's kick some goddamn ass. A weird skull monster thing pops up. It sends out a bunch of detached hands to attack us, then a bunch of floating heads. Punch them all away and you'll see that worm thing come back. Punch him again and he runs away. Inside the void, things start getting trippy. We'll punch away these tiny little heads until we reach a part where this giant crystal with electric orbs surrounding it appears. Jen's in that crystal. Let's punch away the orbs and watch out when it starts shooting out lightning. Punch the crystal so many times and Jennifer escapes. Only to run away. Hey, where the hell are you going? Oh shit, what the fuck is that? This big, unstoppable dude is known as the Evil One. Like I said, he's unstoppable. All we can do is avoid his attacks and run away. Whew! We made it! We escaped the clutches of the immortal being known as the Evil One. We don't have to worry about that guy ever again. Until Splatterhouse 3. Ooh. We now have Jennifer with us and we need to escape. We'll escape using the elevator and of course there's an annoying fight with multiple ghouls. But then we get in a boat. We're escaping until Ultros comes back. Son of a bitch! He launches spikes at us that we must attack and throw back at his big stupid eyeball. I love how this boss screams too. I mean, it's halfway underwater. Wouldn't it sound like... Defeat him and we make it to land. We did it! We escaped! Come on! That giant multi-faced ultimate evil returns. This asshole weighs back and forth, allowing you to punch it, but it also throws out a bunch of wolf heads at you. This fight can be pretty damn tricky, but punch it enough times and it turns into a skull bat. Punch that so many times and you'll win the game! The mansion sinks into, I'm guessing, an ocean now? That's a lot of water. The mask hangs around and Rick finally gets some peace as him and Jennifer finally embrace each other. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Splatterhouse 2. So, what do I think about it? Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the first game. Why wouldn't I like Splatterhouse 2? It plays just like Splatterhouse 1. Which is also why I'm a little bit disappointed in it. To clarify, both Splatterhouse 1 and 2 play exactly the same. The game mechanics, the level structures, the weapons, everything feels the same. And while I like Splatterhouse 1, the first time I played the sequel, I kinda expected more. While this is absolutely not the case for Splatterhouse 3, I kinda wish they would have done something different with Splatterhouse 2. Maybe more ways to attack or defend yourself, maybe new weapon mechanics, or maybe multiple paths to choose as you venture through the game. I don't know, something. But, like I said, I still enjoy the game. It's still Splatterhouse. You're controlling a big, powerful, but sluggish man-beast to destroy demonic monsters. It might not be for everyone, but it's a game I enjoy. But those are just my opinions. What do you guys think? What do you think of Splatterhouse 2? What do you think of Splatterhouse in general? Let me know in the comments below. If you want, go ahead and like, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and have a great, safe Halloween. It feels great to be back and doing this again. I missed you guys. I love you guys. I hope you all take care. I'll see you all in the next one.